Hello everyone, welcome to Meanlife Studies. In this video, I'm going to share one of the important SQL conceptual interview question that has been asking in most of the interviews. That is logical execution order of a SQL query, or interviews can also ask you like what is the execution order of a SQL query. Okay, even if you are capable of writing complex SQL queries, if you fail to answer this question, you will definitely end up failing in the interview because there is no matter even if you can write complex SQL queries without understanding what is the execution order of a SQL query. Okay, this is very important. You have to understand this one. So now let's see how we can answer this one. So first you need to understand we'll be writing most of the time retrieving the data that is being stored in our databases, right? So assume if you are working on a particular table, that is single table. If you are working on a single table, so how you'll be writing selecting all columns that is star from table name, right? So for that, I'm just considering a sample data like employees underscore details table. Okay. Now you're working on a particular data like table. So how this is going to execute? You should not, you should not answer like starting with select. No, this is wrong. Okay. So first you have to understand from where you are taking the data. That is from table. So first the execution will start from. So from class will be starting. Okay. The SQL query will start executing by with the help of from. Okay, from which table you are taking, and after that if you want to, you can see here, so execute this one, this is the data we have. And after that, if you want to filter out, like see where I'm just using salary is greater than 60,000. Okay, let's see 60,000. Okay, now if I execute this one, so previously we have total of 7 records are there. So now if I execute this entire, that's going to return 6 records. So after from a particular data like a table name, then it's going to filter in the data like using where class, whatever the condition that you are mentioning it. And after that, so now if you want to use any group, so now tell me if I end up this one, only this one, what is the SQL query execution starting from and where, and after that selecting columns, whatever the columns are there. Okay, so now we are going to write one more. Let's see, we are trying to return group by of, let's see, group by department. Okay, so now what will happen if I execute this one? That's going to return errors, right? Because we are returning all the data. And if you're trying to return all the data, you have to use all the columns, right? So let's see, I'm just using department only. If I use only department, let's see how it's going to return. You can see here, we are getting four. These are the 4 groups. Actually, we have total of 7 records or something, but we are getting only 4 records. That means those 7 records combined into different groups. These are the different groups. Those are departments. Okay, now you have to understand starting from and then where we are filtering. So first it's going to filtering the data and after that grouping the data. Okay, so let's see now from where and after that group by. Okay, now let's see what is the actual data we have. So select department comma count of, I'm just using id in the sense that's going to return the number of employees, right? You can see here. So how many employees? 3 4 5 6. It's returning only 6 employees are there, but actually how many employees are there in the there in the employees table? Select star from employees underscore details. How many employees are there? Actually, there are total of 7 employees are there. But while you're counting the number of employees in each department, how many it's returning? 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not returning 7. Why? Because it's filtered the data first. This is the first filtration. After that, you have grouped the remaining data. So first filtration was this one, so that how many employees are there like under this condition, that will be filtered out. Okay, so now we are returning only those employees whose salaries are greater than 60,000. That means only 6 employees are there. Okay, now if I return less than, that's going to return only 1 employee. You can see here. That too only in single department, that is 600 department, only 1 employee. Right, so you have to use, okay, either of them you can mention. Just use greater than. Now if I try to execute this one, you can able to see here it's returning only 6 because first it's going to filtering the data. So you have to understand here, first taking the data from, and after that immediately goes to execution of filtration like where class, whatever the condition, it could be any number of conditions. Okay, and after that it's going to divide that remaining data into number of groups by using group by clause. So you have to understand starting from where and then group by. After that, if you want to filter out this group of data, then you have to use having clause. Okay, so now we have this data, and if you want to filter out those departments, in that department more than 1 employee is going to work on. Let's see now how we can do that here. Having, so what is this column name? You can mention this as, okay, let's see, you can also use directly here count of id is greater than 1. Okay, so let's execute this one. You can see now how it's going to return. It's returning only 1. because of you are filtering the group data. So after group by only you have to use this having clause. Okay, so there is, even if you try to use having clause before group by, it won't work. Okay, so let's see after that, after group by, that is having clause. Okay, then you are going to selecting. So first starting from, then filtering where, after the grouping, and then filtering the group data, and after that you are going to selecting of what? Select command will help us to selecting whatever the columns that you are trying to return. So after that select, so afterward you are going to use select command, select, and then, so if you want to use a distinct of any particular, after that you can use distinct. Otherwise, just ignore it for now. Select whatever the columns, after that you are going to mention the select, and then order by. Okay, this is the hierarchy of SQL query execution. First hierarchy. And if even if you want to filter out any other, let's see, order by, you can use top n class, so that it's going to return only top n. Here in SQL Server, this is top n. In another database like Postgres and MySQL, it will be like limit and offset. Okay, if you want to use distinct, you can also use here distinct. Okay, so up to now we are working on a particular table, that is a single table. So how it's working on, like taking the data from a given table and then filtration, and after that grouping the data, grouping the filter data, and after that filtering the group data, and after that selecting whatever the columns you want, and after that you are ordering the whatever you want. Okay, order on the basis of, you can see here. So order by of, you are going to mention any particular column, right? So this is how, and after, even if you want to return only any number of records, you can mention by using top n class. So this is for only one table, right? So if in case if you are working on multiple tables, then how it's going to work? Okay, so first it is similar taking from the data, and after that, if you are working on multiple tables, you are going to use join class. So join, let's see here. So select data from this table here. I'm just using this as E, join on another table, that is departments. Assume departments is there. I'm just aliasing this as D, on which condition? E dot, I'm just considering ID. Okay, let's see, department equal to, in department table, let's see what is the data here. Let's see now. So we are combining here ID and department. So from employees table, department is the department ID. From departments table, ID is the department ID, right? So now if I execute this one, that's going to return combined table of both, like employees details and department. Now you can see here. So first taking the data from table name, and then you're joining on which class, I mean on any particular condition. And then the same procedure. After that, you're going to use where class. You can see where salary is greater than 60,000. Okay, now if I execute this one, you can see actually we have, okay, total of 7 records are there, but here we are getting 6 records because there might be one mismatch of departments. Okay, so if you want to see that also, you can just see full join. Okay, so just see full join up to this one. You can see here. So there are total of 7 employees are there, and you can see here. So remaining, okay, these are the 3 different departments also existing. Okay, now after that from, okay, you can see if I filter out this one again, you can see here you're getting only 6 record because one record is less than 60,000, right? So again, if you want to use group by, you can use it, and after that filter group by group data, and again you are going to selecting whatever the columns you want. You can see here, if I want to select name, whatever the columns you want, you are going to select it, and after that you are going to ordering the data, order by ID, or you can also use name. You can see here. So if I execute this one, you can see here normally 1, 2, 3, 4, this is the data. And after execution of this one, you can see here, what is this one? Because of we have used here aliases, right? Just use e dot id, e dot name, e dot age. Okay. If I execute this one, now you can see here. So we are returning whatever the columns you want, and in any order. What is the order? Order by name. We are mentioning order by name. So that is why starting from A, C, you can see here. So now if you observe, first taking from, and after that filtering the data first. Okay, after taking the data, first filtering the data. Okay, sorry, if you are working on multiple tables, join is there. Yeah, join. After that, wait, like filtering, and then you're selecting any columns, and after that, ordering the data. Okay, this is the logical execution of the SQL query. Okay, from join, or you can also use on any particular, and after that filtering the data like using where, group by, having, selecting any number of columns. If you want to use distinct, you can use distinct, and order by, and after that top n class. That's going to return. Okay, let's see here. So if I use here, where is that? Here. So you should not use top n at the end. No, you should use here. No? So top 2. So if I try to return like this, you can see here, that's going to return only 2 records. Okay, the same process, taking from where, group by, having, and then select any number of columns like after that order by. This is the hierarchy of the SQL query execution if you are working on a single table. If you are working on multiple tables, you have to understand there is one join is there. Okay, I hope you understood. Thank you.